host. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing well.
I'm glad to hear it. We finally got our comms sorted out, so we've been able to talk a lot more freely the past week, which is a huge relief. How confident are you in this new setup?
I am confident. It will give us some time to communicate intel I was not able to before.
I was thinking about this, and I feel like your intel is about 6 months or more ahead of what's going on. You've been incredibly accurate, which we document on my Twitter and on our telegrams, countless confirmations. The Cabal's using AI to see the future, but you're not. To what do you credit or ascribe the accuracy?
I think it is a credit to my sources, trusted ones, which I have cultivated over decades. The people I have in my corner, ex-intelligence officials and military officials, they are very good people, and they want all of this to be exposed. They have access to classified information beyond what I am able to access, but they choose to trust me, knowing some of it may end up in these intel drops.
Well, the accuracy has been giving us a preview of what the Cabal is about to do. Now we see exactly what you warned of about Musk even a year and a half ago, and during the election. It's all coalescing.
Yes, what we now face is the false awakening and so-called golden age. Incredibly, if awareness of this false awakening gains traction, the AI will make adjustments for that. That is the power of what we are dealing with. Adjustments are being made on a day-by-day basis, in fact, to manipulate perceptions. If faith in the Trump administration begins to wane, they will then do something to shore up that faith again. We are seeing this frequently, whereby the administration engages in a betrayal or pushes this transhumanist agenda, aligning with Bill Gates or approving Pfizer drugs. But then another decision is made seemingly restoring faith in the overall MAGA mission. That is the adeptness of the AI.
I actually see that. It's exactly as you talked about, how they're doing it. I saw something about Pam Bondi releasing the Epstein files, or she wants to, and to me there's another one of those, oh, Trump's a good guy stories. Meanwhile, there's all this other stuff going on.
That is a precise example, yes.
Do you think they'll actually release the Epstein files? They said they would release the JFK files, but nothing has happened. It's like it just went away.
Nothing released will impact the cabal, but it is possible some people will be sacrificed to shore up perceptions. Epstein himself was sacrificed in this way, to give the perception someone evil or bad was apprehended, then removed, but we have evidence he has an active Obsidian account, with billions in USDR in it. I have been told he is alive and protected, as well. The Epstein files were released on February 27th, and contained previously public information that had now been redacted further. No new information was revealed, and some of it was actually covered up. A publicity stunt at the White House with various Israel-supporting media gatekeepers gave the impression the administration had released something of significance, when it had not.
It wouldn't surprise me the slightest. That they're so slow and weird about releasing these things says enough. Why the delay? There shouldn't be any delay. I keep hearing we want to release these files, then do it.
Redactions, pruning, editing, and sanitization is taking place before they are released, if anything real is even released at all. It may be a combination of some records and some entirely generated by AI.
One thing that's sort of reflective of the Intel bulletin we put up, where we talk about how the gatekeepers have totally taken over, is that I saw Jim Stone has really slipped in his analysis. I've always thought Jim was an unimpeachable source, not controlled. Now I see him praising Trump, Elon, J.D. Vance, even praised Ben Fulford. He's praising these people. I just couldn't believe it. At the same time, Jim echoes exactly what we're saying. Doge and Musk is all about universal basic income. So, at least he gets that. Jim isn't controlled, is he?
I have not checked on his Obsidian account, but I would doubt it he is aligned with the cabal. He is more likely being hypnotized by the agenda, the propaganda.
I see it. People are completely under the Musk and Trump spell now. They don't see what's really going on. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I think our readers get it. I don't need to sit here and post the evidence. It's all over. It's obvious. My last comment on this will be the thing Trump posted on his Instagram, the AI video showing Trump's conversion of Gaza. I found it to be tasteless but symbolic. Did you see it?
I have seen it. We are talking about bulldozing over the graves of thousands of murdered Palestinian civilians, a grave site of a great massacre that took place, a civilian genocide entirely manufactured from the October 7th false flag by Israel. It is what I spoke about years ago, the coming bloodshed. It is one of the cabal's great sacrificial bloodbath ceremonies, as is the Ukraine war with millions massacred. Now, we see Trump wishing to cover it all up with glitter and gold. The AI video is abhorrent. Some of the images are not an accident. I am sure others will pass it and examine it and find the symbolism, some of it possibly tying in with biblical scripture. As I told you, the cabal will not hide their evil anymore. They are open with it, but they will couch it in democratic themes or try to normalize it.
Thank you for sharing my disgust. It's unbelievable he would post something like that. In our last Intel bulletin, we said crypto could surge, but now it's dropped back. What's going on?
Yes, I had spoken to Michael about crypto's long-term future, not the short-term. Any quick drop in crypto is a manufactured event. About 300,000 long positions were wiped out in this move in the order of over $1 billion in losses, benefiting cabal-controlled exchanges. The liquidations went directly into the coffers of the cabal-controlled exchanges. People do not seem to realize that is what happens during a liquidation event. Thousands of traders lose their money and it goes directly to the exchange. Who controls the exchange? The cabal. Now, the cabal will scoop up Bitcoin at a lower price with those funds. It should also be noted, for the purposes for our team, Bitcoin's price is actually irrelevant entirely. Whether it is 10,000 or 100,000 per coin, it is irrelevant as to the acquisition of USDR, because USDR's value is based on fiat, not on Bitcoin's price. So, for our team, it does not matter if the price drops or even rises, nor does the cabal care. The only way this would impact anyone is if they were to hold Bitcoin long-term, or try to trade it. We do not issue trading recommendations in this way. The market is volatile and risky. Certainly, an adept person could ride these waves, the ups and downs, and generate some fiat income in doing so, but it is a risk.
Do you still think it will go up in the long run, as we talked about in the Intel bulletin?
In the long game, yes, but not without high volatility. If Bitcoin were to drop to 60,000, I would be surprised but not shocked. Anything lower would indicate complete market instability, and by that time we would be entering some kind of overall catastrophe in all markets, which could very well be coming in March. By the end of it, though, after the retail traders have been washed out and liquidated, I expect a possible quick rise in crypto to bring people into Obsidian, and possibly whereby Musk will issue special refunds and credits via crypto. To get them, you may need a crypto account or wallet, and from there, the onboarding into Obsidian begins, then the conversion to USDR. This will send crypto skyrocketing, momentarily, possibly for a few months, before Obsidian is fully brought online.
Okay, thank you for clarifying all that. It makes perfect sense. We warned about this coming economic crash, and you said people need to sell everything. I had a few people write me saying that's wrong, we shouldn't sell gold or land. Can you explain that more?
Yes. It is important to understand that after the reset, everything will be priced in USDR. All capital must go through USDR. If you have, say, 12 ounces of pure gold, it may be worth thousands in fiat in today's terms, but after the reset, you will only be able to sell it via USDR. It also may be worth less, since the cabal intends to reprice everything. Since Obsidian will be online, if you attempt to sell it, you will likely experience capital controls and restrictions. Your social score may be too low, your monthly USDR cap may have been reached, your market access will be restricted. Since there is one currency, a one-world currency, your on-ramp to fiat access is limited only to one currency. What will you do? You will not be able to sell your gold. We advise everyone to prepare in terms of understanding their existing fiat will be worthless, and all assets after the reset will be recapitalized, refigured, and in many cases, you will lose them. They will be forfeited, or you simply will have no access, no ability to sell or move them. We also have some concern about property deeds and right of ownership of property. The cabal is, essentially, coming for the land. They want to take it, and through their surrogate venture capital funds, like BlackRock, they are already buying it. Trump's aggressive moves to simply take Canada and Greenland, which is part of the NAU plan, almost seem symbolic of the wider goal, to take everything. If one does not buy crypto at these lower prices, it is best to at least have liquid fiat. Even that is not secure, but it is better than non-liquid assets that will be lost, seized, repriced, or you will have no ability to liquidate them all. At least with fiat, you can buy some provisions.
What about bartering? Couldn't people barter?
Bartering will exist after the reset, but drones and Starlink surveillance can easily track that. as an AI-managed totalitarian surveillance state is planned to be online worldwide fully by 2030.
It's interesting that we released our Intel bulletin just about 5 days ago warning about the economy, and already the economic doom is pouring in on a daily basis, a lot of which we post in our Telegram chat. I thought you could clarify some of that too.
The US is teetering. The strain of credit card debt, inflation, joblessness, and stagnant wages is slowly increasing and building up within the system. As consumers tighten budgets and spend less, corporate profits will plummet, leading to more layoffs and a stock market crash. All of this will serve to induce in people a desire to give up certain freedoms for Obsidian when it is introduced, and in some scenarios, they may beg for it if conditions worsen enough. Another extremely serious issue is the manufactured, entirely bogus bird flu, leading to egg and poultry shortages. This is designed to drastically reduce the nutritional intake of Americans, as eggs alone are one of the most healthy foods on the planet. Not only that, they are introducing various harmful vaccines that will either kill some of the birds or make them poisonous for human consumption. This is all by design.
I saw RFK Jr. is approving the Pfizer vaccine for the birds. This is just completely insane to me. I feel like bird flu is a fake pandemic the cabal has had on the back burner, sort of percolating, like they're just waiting to use it.
Yes, it is, but one reason it has not been used as a full-fledged pandemic yet is due to the fact the nanodust was already placed in the food supply. The cabal has no reason to create another fake pandemic except to create fear and possibly generate income for their pharmaceutical outfits.
All right, I'm glad we covered all that. There's so much going on, it's hard to cover all of it. Now, one of our team members had an incident. Should we go into that?
We can.
They think this may be nanodust related or AI related. They have a very close person in their life who turned on them. Not just a little, a lot. It was devastating. Maybe you can explain.
Yes, one of our most trusted team members experienced a personal loss recently. Not a death, but a separation, a loss of a close friend. This friend of our team member, over a period of a few months, began to increasingly change behavior, often questioning and attacking our team member, and displaying very unusual behavior. Behavior described as almost demonic or possessed in nature, and extremely hateful.
It's horrible, but you felt, and our team member felt, this wasn't just an issue in the friendship, but that there was more going on. Do you think this person was captured by the cabal in some way, to turn on our team member?
I do not think so, since the individual did not act as most cabal agents would behave in such a situation. A cabal agent or someone turned by the cabal would seek more information to infiltrate our team, and this person did not. I believe it is more likely some kind of activation of the nanodust took place. We are seeing this more and more. We do not know if the cabal is doing this intentionally or not. We do not know if Starlink is doing this intentionally now, or if this is a testing phase, or even a side effect.
Just to be clear, the Starlink activation hasn't happened yet?
No, we know for sure it has not. Something else is going on. People impacted by this, by the nanodust, will stop behaving quite the same. One of the most significant signs I was warned by my guide of, is you may feel the person is possessed by an entity. Our team member felt this way.
Are they actually possessed?
My understanding is the nanodust along with the activation will open up a doorway that will allow certain things to enter a person and affect them very negatively and somewhat without their awareness. Something in them will be deceiving them, blinding them.
Do you think this sort of thing, what we saw here, was a preview of the full activation?
Yes, I do in a sense.
Our team member is really hurt by this, and they couldn't resolve it. Their friend was just gone, as they described it, like the person they knew was just gone, not inside anymore.
I know. I fear we will see more and more of this. Relationships will degrade. You will no longer recognize these people in your life, and they will adhere to the beast system. They will welcome it when that time comes.
I don't think people get it. We all have this nanodust in us, right now, you and me. We could get activated too, right?
Potentially, yes, but I believe it unlikely. The antidote is necessary to cleanse our bodies of it. As sovereigns, thankfully we will have access to it.
How many people do you think are being activated in this random way, right now, worldwide?
I have asked my sources about this, and my guide, the numbers I am getting back, are in the thousands. Not a huge number, but enough that people may find these people in their lives acting erratically a bit. Those not against the cabal, or those hypnotized by Trump or Musk, or those who have taken the vaccines may not notice any changes in the person. In fact, the activated person may treat those people even better.
Do you think it's possible some strong-willed people could resist it?
That may be wishful thinking, but yes, I do hope people can resist. It is designed so that no one can really resist it, though. It will have an even more powerful effect than any drug. We are talking about a whole-body electromagnetic takeover of our consciousness, directly linked to a worldwide grid in the sky. Other than the heart attacks and strokes expected, it is possible the world will get activated and wake up the next day and all will be normal, except the resistance to all of this evil will be completely extinguished. Those who know what is going on, who are against it, may wake up after the activation and feel no issue with what is going on. They may decide Obsidian is a good thing, everything will go on as normal, but as Obsidian comes online, it will be accepted, possibly without much fanfare, possibly as though it is an upgrade to daily life.
Okay, since potentially the activation will work on everyone and no one will resist, what will happen to the restricted and quarantined classes?
They will stay in those classes. They may find themselves supporting Trump or his version of Obsidian he and Musk will release, but later find they are in a lower class. If they resist or if somehow the spell of the nano dust breaks, there will be nothing they can do. They will find resisting results in severe Obsidian penalties, just like happens in China, and they will find almost everyone around them seems different, hypnotized in a way, because every single person will already be activated. Now here is an important point. The reason they have championed free speech is a trick. It is spellcasting. They are going to allow free speech in their golden age. They will talk about how free speech and liberty still exist. What they will not disclose is that the human soul and mind is now compromised with this nano dust and activation. Therefore, no one will have the willpower or knowledge to speak out against anything.
That's incredible. Because I see that. Why would they push free speech so much, I wondered. Now I see. They don't care if people have free speech at all, if they've been activated.
No, they do not. They know no one will use their free speech once activated. People will just go along with the program, and the Trump and Musk cult will actually grow stronger. People will think they are using their free speech, without realizing they are not.
The Book of Revelation says you won't be able to buy, sell, or trade without the mark. You said the Cabal is actually trying to bring about the Book of Revelation prophecies. Is that true?
It is.
Why? Because in the Book of Revelation they lose and God wins.
Yes and no, you must read the book with discernment. The Cabal believes the ending is not determined. The Cabal also believes, because they were able to alter the Word of God and change Scripture with CERN, that they are now in control of this realm. I will add, many books of the Bible are not even in the Bible, so the Bible itself is not the true Bible.
You're speaking of some of the Gnostic texts?
Yes, those of the Nag Hammadi library and many others.
You think they were removed?
Not necessarily removed, simply not included. The Bible should have about 40 more books than it does, I have been told by my guide. There are also older books, never discovered in modern times, that were intentionally left out. They provide deep, esoteric knowledge about our reality, and there is no way the Cabal or Satan would have allowed them to be included. The Bible is sanitized.
The idea the Bible is not the Word of God, I think, it makes people upset. It makes me upset. How can that be?
Well, we make the mistake to say it is the Word of God, or to suggest it is immutable, or how God intended. It is not. It is put together by man a long time ago, and corrupted by Satan and the Cabal. My guide said no true Bible even exists. It is separated into various manuscripts that were left out, and the original canon, sanctified as the King James Bible, is entirely corrupted. Since then, in recent times, CERN intervened and corrupted even more of the Bible. Now, biblical history is truly incredible. It is remarkable. But ponder something for a moment. How many translations and versions of the Bible are there?
Dozens.
Far more. There are over 900 English versions and far more in other languages. How can such a thing be the immutable Word of God when it has so many different versions, with different words, different meanings, so many little alterations? Which one is the true one?
There isn't a true one.
Exactly. It has been bastardized and mutilated and changed, not to mention the changes made by CERN in recent years. You do need to find a Bible physically printed before about 1990 to find one with more original passages.
How could God allow this?
Because God allows free will here.
Then how do people find the Word? How do they find the truth?
Excellent question. My guide said the Cabal agreed not to remove Jesus and some other things from the New Testament, or corrupt key concepts and passages. My guide said there was a negotiation. God would have unleashed his wrath and possibly disrupted the Cabal's plans here, probably through earth changes. The flood was real, and God would make it happen again. The Cabal did not want that. The Cabal will negotiate if they need or want something.
I wanted to ask, have you seen the Archaic's YouTube channel that gets into so much alternative history? He would agree with you on the Bible.
Yes.
What do you think of it, and do you trust the guy running it?
It is a very good resource. Jason Bresciers is also not a sovereign in Obsidian. He is listed as restricted. We have looked. I do not think the Cabal sees him as a major threat, though. He is allowed to do his work, for some reason. Since he has the nanodust in him like everyone else, he will be activated. He may carry on after the activation, but I would expect his content will shift in line with what the Cabal desires.
I feel like, as you said a long time ago, the Cabal doesn't care if the truth comes out, since they know Starlink and the activation is in the pipeline.
You are absolutely correct. In some cases, they do not care. In our case, they do care, so our intel has been aggressively suppressed for nearly 3 years. There is a limit they will allow.
There's a firewall there we can't get past. The info just stays in a small circle. They don't want this known, period.
Not by more than a handful of people. No, they do not.
I've got some notes here I'm looking at, so I'm going to diverge a bit. I want to ask about this new cottage industry of UFO people. Pushing this UAP topic seems like from a more credible government whistleblower standpoint. You have familiarity with this, correct?
Very much so, yes.
Okay, these are the names I see pop up all the time. Guys like Luis Elizondo, Ross Coulthart, Chris Bledsoe, Jake Barber, Dr. Stephen Greer. These guys make all the podcast rounds. Do you trust them, and are they on the right track?
I do not trust them, and they are producing disinformation in my view.
What do your sources say, and your guide?
Yes, they are intentionally releasing the truth, along with lies, which can sometimes be more dangerous than outright lies. As they do it, people have lost faith in others.
Alright, are you familiar with this guy, Chris Bledsoe?
I am.
I heard his name, didn't know what he was about, then I watched a long interview and got to know his story. It's wild, he's a regular guy from North Carolina. He's out on a camping trip and has this encounter with UFOs, these red balls of light, these beings with red eyes, and so on. It seems there's witnesses, but what I found really odd is he talks about how he's now working with tons of government agencies, from NASA to the CIA, list goes on. I found that very strange. They're close to him, he's friendly with them, but he was also evasive giving details. What's your take on that?
The impression he gives is that the agencies are interested in his story, which is to suggest his story has merit. Now, whether his story happened or not becomes less relevant in light of the clear deceptive angle the story leads us to.
You mean, with these spooks all surrounding him?
Yes, it is exceedingly bizarre and unusual the way in which they treat him, which is very friendly, very open, even bringing him into what seem to be clandestine and classified operations, of which he is rather coy to speak about. None of that adds up, unless the Cabal is desiring that this man tell his story, and he certainly is.
I know. In my view, and I think you agree, real whistleblowers are almost never treated good. Well, they never are.
They never are, ever, by the Cabal. He is being treated like royalty as a UFO witness. It does not add up.
He said the agencies are really interested in this entity he met called the Lady. It turns out this is something that's been seen before in history. Do you know about her?
Yes, the lady is Satan.
Wow, well, he says she was beautiful, just wonderful, loving, kind, all these things. More than that, I forget the rest he said. He said all the agencies are interested in the fact he met her.
Again, she is Satan. It would not surprise me Cabal enterprises like the CIA would be interested.
So, do you think his story is true?
I would lean towards it being true, and that Mr. Bledsoe was chosen for this role, this moment, unknowingly, and that the agencies would otherwise suppress and censor him if it were not for the fact there is a message they desire or want out, or there is something special about him. The fact he met the lady may be just that, since the lady is actually Satan. They would want to align with him to get closer to the entity.
That is an incredible summation of what this all is. I didn't see it, now I see it, you're right. It makes sense. Because I was befooled as to why these agencies would treat him so well.
He may not even know his role here. He is just going along for the ride, enjoying being treated like a special person in these circles. He is a conduit for what we do not know. A message, maybe. Not a message of God, though, and not one I would trust.
Now, I said it's like a cottage industry. It's this podcast industry of UFO people, the same names, circling around. Their main contention is aliens are among us and so on, and the aliens are mostly good or harmless, but they never provide much evidence. Why is there never any evidence?
The cabal controls the flow of information. They are not going to provide concrete proof, just hint at it, over and over. The only intelligent thing I have seen disclosed is that the UFOs or UAPs are from the afterlife. That came out recently.
All right, we discussed that before, so I looked for this and found it. It's from James Hodgkins, a member of this new Skywatcher team, a team I think has a bunch of questionable characters, but one that is more credible is Dr. Gary Nolan. So Mr. Hodgkins and Dr. Nolan seem to engage in some sort of channeling with these UFOs at this event. He's acting as what they call a psionic to contact these vehicles in the sky, and Hodgkins gets some information that the UFOs are from the afterlife. Supposedly this is channeled information. Then he even says something steps in to block information, or prevent information from getting to him, which I thought was funny too, just odd.
That is correct.
I found a video of his testimony. I'll post it. It's a TikTok video, but it played easy on my computer without having to be logged in. What do you think?
This is what I am referencing.
The afterlife, why is that so significant that he said that?
Because it is the only time I have heard any of these UFO people in this community say that, or really any time prior, throughout UFO literature. I did some research, and it appears there are a few mentions of such a thing, but they are rare. There are indications of that concept, and some of that comes from near-death experiences, where aliens are witnessed. But overall, most people assume ETs are simply aliens from other planets visiting us.
And you don't think that's true?
No, not entirely, no.
What are they?
Demonic entities, cloaked and disguised, and they are coming from the afterlife and actually phasing into our reality from time to time.
Do you trust this source since he was channeling?
Channeling is, overall, not to be trusted since most of the entities being contacted are demons or deceptive. Occasionally, some truth gets through. That is why I noticed that one bit of information, I recognized it as truth, possibly inadvertent truth. As you recall, he was blocked, something got in the way and was trying to control the communication, so I wonder if that bit of information was unintentional. I have learned on rare occasions, these entities, or aliens, demons more accurately, occasionally let some truths out.
What about their craft? I mean, this stuff has to be real, there's enough evidence, especially from the military. Well, I should stop myself. It could all be a psyop, right?
I do not believe all of it is a psyop. The part of the military that is not controlled at the higher levels has had interactions with the craft, via nuclear bases whereby nuclear weapons were disabled, and via pilots who filmed craft. These things happened.
Why would these UFOs want to disable nukes?
Because the nukes could actually completely disrupt and destroy the planet, and disrupt projects here and timelines.
The UFOs can intervene and stop them from being used?
Absolutely. If there is a nuclear war, it is because it will be allowed.
How come there is never any real concrete evidence, just lots of sightings?
2 reasons. Intense government and cabal compartmentalization and control of information, and the fact the UFOs, or these afterlife visitors, know when they are observed and they can control how they are seen. In other words, they are entirely aware of photos being taken, the evidence left behind, and they can control that. It is the same way a scientist studying an ant farm might show up and appear to the ants, but not really leave any evidence behind. The ants may suspect something, but never find anything tangible. We are the ant farm to these visitors.
I'll circle back here. You found that to be a significant disclosure, but you told me in another conversation the subject is so misunderstood that you fear it will be completely corrupted in the hands of these UFO characters, or gatekeepers.
It will be completely distorted. I think the door is open now to the truth, and they are going to distort it.
What is the truth?
Demonic entities, pretending to be a variety of aliens, phase in and out of our realm to do experiments and influence the progression of the Cabal's plans. It also seems there may be a race of aliens, whether mantis, reptilian, and so on, that may exist, but they do not exist in ways we understand. They are demonic projections, possibly astral bodies that demons inhabit. They are not remotely like humans, nor do they have souls like humans.
Are there hybridization projects? Are there mantis and reptilian aliens who run the moon and do all of this stuff? Because to me, it's like there's this whole other world just beyond, in the astral.
Certain things I cannot answer here. There are a few things I know that have never appeared on the internet, ever. If they do, they are instantly censored. A few key secrets the Cabal does not want known, particularly about the soul, our existence, the afterlife, what lies ahead for us after death, and most of all, what the Cabal does in the afterlife and what they control that exists there. Some of this I learned from the group I have been working with, that I have talked about before. They have technology to prove these things, and I have seen these proofs.
I understand. I'll move on. We'll save that for our team. We talked before about this, but the moon is an artificial structure, right?
Without any question. Even scientific literature entirely confirms it is hollow, rings like a bell, and has characteristics that deny all possibility it could be a natural body. It is simply not acknowledged or talked about in that way.
What's inside of it?
There are structures on the moon. Photos have been taken. We know this. But when we get into what goes on inside, we enter an area that is conceptually difficult to grasp. I must be careful in what I say here. I cannot speak any further.
Okay. I feel like people are going to read this intel drop and get upset by all this, but you're not saying anything you haven't said for 3 years, and what you're saying is backed by evidence.
I think if someone reading this does not understand evil, does not understand demonic influence, does not understand that we do have souls and that there is an afterlife, they probably would not be reading this now, or they would have stopped reading. Our intel drops are here for people who understand the bigger picture.
That's a good point. I'm going to bring our conversation to a close, since I know you need to get going. Just lastly, how have things gone in bringing new members into our team?
We have added 3 new members in the past few weeks, and I believe these are tremendous additions to our team. I am hopeful we can find more people who can help us, as the mission is what matters. It gets lost in our discussions and conversations, but our mission is our priority. We cannot stop what is coming, so we must survive and fight it on the other side of this coming reset. And we must have a secure, complete team of strong, trustworthy, dedicated individuals to do that. I believe we do, but we need more.
I know we do. Well, hopefully people will do their part and share it. I'm about to give up on that. Seeing gatekeeper telegrams with 200,000 members just spewing pro-Musk, pro-Trump crap all day, it's disheartening. We're so far from doing a damn thing to stop the Cabal, I mean collectively as a human race. People are just consumed by the deception. They'll take the mark, and the activation just guarantees they will.
Do not look at the negative. We have great strength on our side. We have the Creator watching over us and, in my opinion, actually protecting us. It is a miracle all of our information is still up for the public to find, albeit suppressed. My guide said we have protectors ensuring it stays up, for now. And we do have protectors watching over our team.
Thank you for the reminder. We have more conversations to share. Michael's editing them now. I hope we get another intel drop up soon. More about this Earth event coming. Something very big in 2026. You got more intel on that.
I did.
You can at least share some of that publicly, right?
Some of it, yes. At least enough that should not result in escalation.
Okay, thanks again for your friendship, and we'll speak again soon.
Absolutely, we will. Good night. Be safe.